Hey everyone, welcome to Reddit Readout. Today we are checking out True Off My Chest. Story 1. I hooked up with an old friend which has led to me losing my best friend. I, 23F, have been best friends with Lily, 23F, for 10 years as we met in high school. 2 months ago, it was my 23rd birthday and I caught up with an old friend who I've known since we were kids, Tyler, 24M. A little background about Tyler. He used to have a little crush on me when we were kids, and he has also had a thing for my best friend since when we hit the end of our junior year of high school. None of those feelings did we reciprocate towards him as for both of us, we just saw him as a friend and he is not our type. They kind of had a thing in school, nothing physical, but she later had told me she did not like him and felt the need to like him because people, including me, were thinking they would be great together. Anyways, it was my 23rd birthday and I was out with a couple of mates. My best friend wasn't with us as she was in a different state at this time for work obligations. As you can imagine, I was definitely too intoxicated, which is not my finest moment. Me and Tyler saw each other and just started chatting about how we have been since we haven't seen each other since school. He moved during senior year. The conversation is a little blurry, but all I remember is him flirting with me, and me loving the attention was all for it. We ending up hooking up, an instant regret from me. The next morning, my best friend and I were on FaceTime and she wanted to know all the glory details of the night, and I told her about it. I apologized for doing what I did because I did feel guilt towards my actions because I felt that I had broken girl code. She told me it was fine and she didn't care, and that she was even saying that it's my birthday so live my life basically. We ended the conversation a little while after that, but she said we will talk later. Later's been and it's been 2 months since I've heard from her. I have messaged her, snapped her, and nothing is working. And yes, I do know she is online because I have been a creep and checking her snap scores. I feel like I am the one in the wrong even though multiple people have told me I'm not. When he is brought into our conversations, she has told me time and time again she didn't feel anything for him and still doesn't. But with her ghosting me all of a sudden, I feel like I am in the wrong. And I know what I am about to say. I'm not trying to justify myself, but she has done worse to me in the friendship that I have forgiven her for. I will not share what they were, lol. I just need advice on this. Story 2. I love D&D and I love that my friends too as well. I, 21M, am currently DMing a campaign with a couple of friends from my university, currently 2 people, both 19M I believe, and 2 people will join soon. I've always wanted to play D&D and this year was the first time I did. It was great, but because of time reasons we botched the campaign, have done so with another TTRPG made by me because I didn't think it was good enough, then a one-piece homebrew that is coming back soon. But this 2 particular friends really support me when I have crazy ideas. Since we are all still learning, I was thinking about a way to introduce them more smoothly to the world of D&D, so I just made it kind of cliche and I skyd ourselves into the game. Yes, I'm a part of it but don't really do much. Won't explain here why. This way they can RP little by little and metagame less since they are more new than I to the concept. I won't go into details, maybe on another post. But this small rant was mostly appreciation for what they have done to me. I'm currently in the process of treating an 8-year-long depression and I honestly didn't expect to find people so similar to me so soon. A 3-way support system and we just fuck around. My favorite way of fucking around being playing D&D. I tell them when I mess up with the rules and we fix it together on a way that makes sense with the story. They don't look up monster stat blocks and weaknesses cause it would be boring as fuck, and since we are still in early stages of learning the game we can still talk to each other if what we do is problematic. We reason the fact that actions have consequences and actually take a moment to think how would this character act since X and Y happened to him. Since I've started DMing earlier this year I've learned a lot from videos and this wonderful community. To the point that one of my friends actively told me that my way of narrating fights and situations took like a leap on quality, something that made me very happy. One of my friends happened to be near on a session, and because of how the lore was unraveling that way as well as a fight that just happened to be the coolest of the campaign, good rolls, good lore, and good dialogues, he since said that he wanted to join. After all, he already had a character made. He saw me print a character sheet, so I forced him to fill it with my help. D&D has done a lot for me, and I feel that there's so much I still don't know and can do, that I can't wait to keep making mistakes, learning from them and improving my storytelling, since I've tried to do a lot of things with that talent and finally have somewhere to put all the things I'm good at. Story 3. I'm so proud of my brother. My older brother and I never were really close. In the past few years, we've barely spoken even though we've shared much of the same space for the past 20-something years. We both decided to enlist pretty close to the same time, however, he was the only one of the two of us to make it in. My family celebrated Thanksgiving/Christmas early so we could have one last time together as a family before he shipped out, last Tuesday. I've never really thought much of my brother since we've both screwed each other's lives up over the years, not to mention I had no faith that he would make it in the military, but here we are. I felt he was always too sensitive, didn't really have any real friends, and as best put in Hacksaw Ridge, I have seen stalks of corn with better physiques, he's always been very skinny/never worked out in his life. But he did it. He's made it through processing and is in the process of becoming an airman, and I could not be more proud. The day he left I had to work, however, I, for the first time in years, gave him a hug, told him to kick ass, and told him I wouldn't miss his graduation no matter the cost. I can't wait to see the man my brother becomes, and I hope to follow in his footsteps sooner rather than later. But in the meantime, I'm going to be holding down the fort at home, as my family is understandably distraught by having one of their sons gone from their lives, and I will continue to pursue my happiness and passion, until that time comes if it even does. I'm debating on writing this as a letter to him, however, I'm undecided. Story 4. I have romantic feelings for a married man. Ironically, I saw someone else posting this and it gave me courage to do it too. As the title say, I have romantic feelings for a married man and it's been weighing me down constantly. I, 26F, met him at work and we hit it off very well from the start. I didn't feel like this when we first met because I didn't find him attractive or have any interest like that. So we got close really quick due to working together very often because of the kind of jobs we have. Fast forward to a week or two ago, something happened that made me realize there's something more going on in my brain. I found him endearing, funny, cute, and passionate about what he does. As time goes on, I realize that I am, in fact, developing feelings because of these things. But he is married. He has mentioned his wife numerous times and I have even heard him on the phone with her. It kills me. I have no ill intention, but it just sucks when he is someone who checks all my boxes and that I feel genuinely attracted to for more than just looks. On top of that, we are so connected. We have so much banter. We have so many jokes. It feels like just friend behavior, but it also feels like something else. I know it is me probably reading into it, but I don't know. So now I'm left with this reality of having to work with him and interact how we do without being able to do anything about it. It can be difficult when your natural instinct is to flirt or be overly attached to this person. I don't have ill intentions. But it's hard when you feel like you never get to have what you want. Anyways, thanks for reading and letting me get this off my chest. It's been crushing me lately, so here is to hoping I can rise above it. Story 5. I'm a toxic person but it's hard for me to stop. Context: I'm married to my husband 37 and I'm 27. I've been through a lot as a kid and was in an abusive relationship and I'm most definitely the abused who's become the abuser, but I only notice this after I've ruined my husband's mood and manipulated him into thinking he's the only one wrong. I can't stop it and I hate myself for it. He's a good man and yes, does stupid shit sometimes, but so does everyone. So do I. I never stop the conversation until he apologizes and tries to do things different, but I never change. I want to love him but I can't do that because I don't love myself. I want him to be happy but I can't stop the gaslighting. I don't think I'm a narcissist but I definitely need therapy. Any advice on how to help me treat my husband the way he deserves until I can find a therapist? They are few and far between here or way out of my price range. He really does take good care of me, I just don't know how to put his feelings before my own, and he does it so effortlessly. Story 6. My coworker saved me from SA and I don't know how to repay him. I just feel the need to share this somewhere. Don't know why I still have this account. But I guess it's a good throwaway. I don't share this for a oh my god that's a hero story, but because I need advice to repay him. Because only God knows what might have happened to me if he hadn't been there. So all of this happened yesterday and I'm still completely shaken up. I only recently turned 18. And I had enough of my parents' rules. I wanted to move out of home quickly and stand on my own 2 feet. After a while I found an apartment, but there were problems with the internet provider right from the start. First a technician had to be called in and eventually even an electrician because there were problems with the socket. I won't go into details now, but during this time I was in contact with the landlord of my apartment several times. He was a middle-aged man who often made. Story 7. My sister betrayed our family for a deadbeat, now she's gone. Honestly, I'm just going to start with some context and get into it. The deadbeat in the title is my birth mother, whom we will call Betty. I consider her an accomplice to 2 rapists that assaulted me when I was a child. I was assaulted many times and reached out to Betty, who had done nothing about it and even flat out refused to believe me. Instead she said sorry if it's hard to believe that when my 10-year-old suddenly knows what a vagina is. I mean, are you kidding me? That's your excuse? Aren't you a nurse? Aren't you supposed to understand that your daughter talking about being touched is a sign that she is being touched? I told my dad, who believed me, and I was saved, but I'll admit that that didn't last very long. I was still able to visit Betty on the weekends and of course, me being a child, I still loved every bit of her. Even when visiting I was assaulted again by what I assume is a family friend. This time though, I didn't say anything about it. In fact, I was talked and convinced by this man that it was okay to do these things. He had done a lot more than just touch me, and to this day I still get a few night terrors here and there about it. I mean, I was a kid prancing around telling my mother proudly how I was this man's GF and she didn't even bat an eye. Like, you don't find that concerning? At this point you're purposely dense. My dad did take full custody of my sister and I until my sister got her arm broken. My dad was convinced it was someone from my Betty's side, but Betty obviously denied it all. To be honest, I don't know much about that, because I was sleeping when all that happened to my sister. And the rest is kind of history. A few years ago I catfish and contacted Betty. I pretended to be my own best friend and berated her for all she had done to me and tried to get her to admit she was wrong. It never happened and I ended up blocking her and told my mom about it. My stepmom, she was hurt, but she wanted to know the things I said and I showed her without hesitation. This is important for later. Now, how my sister betrayed our family. Betty, after years of no contact, appeared at our front door while I was working, and OFC my mother and I were furious, and I demanded my father that she leave or I would call the cops for trespassing. She was an unwanted visitor and I made it clear. My sister, however, was seemingly a lot more forgiving than I was. And my mom and I felt a little betrayed. We wanted to know why she wasn't giving this bitch a piece of her mind. Why are you laughing at her jokes? Why are you smiling like everything is okay? We called her out on it and she denied everything. Betty finally left, and this out our family in a bit of strain and we began arguing about the situation. We finally let it go after a few days. Then my sister received a package. In the package was a bunch of Starbucks cups, a card, and money. She didn't let anyone read the card, and I didn't think anything of it. I have a boyfriend myself and I wouldn't want anyone reading whatever he wrote to me. My mom texted me and she felt something was off and that package was not from a boy but from Betty. It was hard to consider that because I figured she would never do that. She hates Betty as much as I do. Boy, was I wrong. I knew something was off the moment she received another Starbucks cup and told me it was from Betty's sister. In my head I thought, oh she's fucked, this was her slip up. She had ripped the packaging label off and we knew exactly what she did. My family and I immediately knew to go to her safe. Be in mind she has had no problem with us going in the safe up until that day. It took us hours for her to give up the code but she did. We only found the card, but we were looking for the packaging label. She kept lying about what she did with it, but then my brother opened her card and there it was, the proof we needed. Notes from Betty and her side of the family. We all felt betrayed that she would sell herself out for a bunch of Starbucks cups. This led to a huge argument and she was ultimately kicked out of the house, and she left. I was hurt, I never really got along with her, but she was still my sister, I still cared. All I can think now is, why would she do this to us? Why would she side with a deadbeat? Couldn't she had just told us the truth? Why did she have to lie? This happened all in the last week, and there hasn't been much other than us clearing out her room and packing all her belongings and that's it. Our family is not the same anymore and I've been feeling so depressed and empty, I don't have the energy to talk or hang out, but I'm forcing myself to go out with my friend tonight. She's going to help me get my mind off things and I really hope this will help. I'll update you all if there ever even is a big update. I'd like to add to this post by saying my no sleep Reddit posts are fake. I just like writing short horror stories, anything outside of that or any other short story Reddits are real. That's all for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.